Moving on TMI this morning, we will be talking about, yesterday we saw that Senator Natasha's office was unsealed. She has been on suspension for 6 months. And today I am not having this conversation alone. I have Dr. Victor Oha. He is a political affairs analyst. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for always coming.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Okay. Earlier yesterday, we saw that Senator Natasha Dwaga's office was open after she's been on suspension for 6 months, and our office was unsealed by Alabi Adedeji, the deputy director of the Sergeant's Arts along with other security personnel. She was suspended by the Senate for 6 months, allegations of misconduct, and for defying a Senate seat arrangement during a plenary session. The Federal High Court in Abuja earlier ruled that a 6-month suspension was excessive and unconstitutional. Although our office has been unsealed yesterday, but she is set to resume duty October 7th, 2025, of course, this year. Then around that time, she also made a public allegation of course, sexual harassment against the Senate President, Senator Godswill Akpabio, claimed that in December 2023, he sexually harassed her. And a lot of pressing, there are a lot of speculations, of course, saying that that is also one of the reasons why she was being suspended. But before we go into that, let's quickly talk about the fact that, most women, Dr. Victor, at this point, a lot of women want to go into politics. Well, does this reinstatement encourage more women to enter politics despite the challenges she has faced? I'm talking about Natasha.
Okay, I think it's important at this point to know that she's not the first person to be suspended.
Okay.
Dume, I think, or so. Other senators have had, or National Assembly members have had similar fate. So, whether that will discourage women or not, I do not think that's the case. Except for the fact that, of course, where you deal with women, obviously, are a majority in Nigeria, but I'm using minority in terms of in office. When you are dealing with minorities, it's like the sympathy of the public will always be with the weak, so, or the underrepresented. So, in this case, it's like, why are you doing this to a woman? And of course, women leaders are up at arms and saying, no, you don't do this to a woman. So it's more amplified because it is a woman's case, and so everybody will be sympathetic. Does it make it right? Does it make what has happened right? Obviously not. But so, just to answer your question, the truth is, I don't think it will discourage any woman from aspiring. If anything, I think it will strengthen them. She has obviously demonstrated uncommon strength, mental strength, and it makes more women want to come forward as well, because she would have made a case, and she's obviously has made a case, and I think going forward, the National Assembly and indeed political office holders are more careful dealing with women.
They should be more careful at this point dealing with women. Interesting. Okay. At this point, okay, how unusual is it for the Nigerian Senate to suspend a sitting senator for the length of this time? She has not been the first person suspended. We saw that the Rivers State Governor, Fubara, he has been suspended for a few months, and he literally got back to office. Like, it's not been the first. She's not been the first person, being suspended. At this point, how significant, or should I say, how unusual is it for Nigerian Senate to suspend a sitting senator? Do you think this will keep occurring, of course, if you are not adhering to the rules and regulations?
Okay, there are the House rules which can be invoked, but at the same time, too, that there can be or should I say scapegoatism, if I may use that language, where people are just, victimized, if you talk against the leadership, anything can be used. The rules can be interpreted however they like, against you. In the case of Senator Natasha, I think it was like using a mallet or a big or a hammer to kill an ant. That to me wasn't too.
But don't
Uh,
you think, Dr. Victor, don't you think the suspension was too much in the sense that, okay, what
that's
she
that's
did,
what I'm saying when I
yeah,
said
because
using a hammer to kill an ant.
because what she did, she came to a session, plenary session, yeah, and Senator Akpabio told her, okay, you have to move to this other seat. They took attack to another seat, and she refused to, she disobeyed. She refused to move to the other seats, and that's the problem.
Well, the question to ask is, was it just a normal movement, or was it to take her out of prominence? Okay, she recognized it for what it was, that it wasn't just a regular reshuffling of seats, but it was more like she was targeted, and so she stood her ground and said, no, I'm not going to let this happen, and I'm glad that we have somebody who is able to stand up and speak truth to power, because yes, the newspapers today they quoted as saying he was a dictator.
Yeah.
I would even add that he's a bully.
Hmm.
That's what it is, because you don't. I mean, yes, as Senate President, I call him first among equals, primus inter pares, but they are first of all equals. They were all voted there.
Yeah, exactly.
And if you check very well, maybe the number of votes that she took that brought her to the Senate may even be more than the number of votes that brought him there. I don't have the facts. I'm just saying. Maybe somebody can investigate and check this now. And so you cannot, on the basis of the fact that everybody has decided, okay, you be our president, now begin to use that to bully or try to victimize your fellow senators and deprive the citizens from where she comes from of fair representation.
Yeah.
In
We
the
saw
National
a
Assembly.
video. We saw a video yesterday. When they unsealed her office, a lot of persons were happy to welcome her back and all of that. And also, she made a statement yesterday that, of course, the senators, most of them, the Senate want her to actually apologize. And she made a statement. She said she isn't apologizing to anybody. That she owns no one an apology. Even Senator Akpabio, according to her, is not more of a senator than she is. That she's also a senator, that she owns no one an apology, and it's all over the newspaper this morning because she said, I am not going to apologize to anybody. I owe nobody an apology. What do you have to say about that?
I agree with that, and the reason is simple. It's in court right now. The matter is still in court, and apologizing will mean owning up to,
Yeah.
And then they also want a soft landing. If she had apologized immediately, because it was just a face-saving thing for them, they would have restored her immediately. But she stood her ground.
Yes.
And of course, the suspension cannot be indefinite. You cannot keep depriving the people of Kogi, her particular senatorial district, of representation. She rightfully has said, I'm not apologizing. I stand my grounds, I stand by what I have said, and, so she's quite right to say so. If there's no point, for her to, the courts didn't ask her to apologize.
Yeah.
So she has no reason to apologize. She is well within her rights. So they suspended her. Okay, it was upheld. Fine. Okay, she served it out. You cannot bring an additional condition to the matter. So, and if this continues, the impunity in the Senate in the National Assembly will continue. Where if the Senate President doesn't like your face, I recall. What's his name now? Former governor and senator. What's his name now? Comrade Adams Oshomole.
Okay.
Yes, saying that In fact, I don't know what happens here when they get to that Senate. It's like you are beaten to submission. He was saying, he was advising that she should, apologize. There currently a case where he said something in the Senate and then he was advised. Maybe there's something that they enjoy there. Any day you are not there, you lose some money or something like that. Otherwise, I don't understand why people should be so scared and so afraid.
Yeah.
And then you say, you better apologize so that the goodies will continue. You know, obviously. Otherwise, why would you do that? She has said she's not, and she has her rights to she has represented her people very well, like the Amazon that she is.
You at this point you
They're
think
very
she's
proud.
represented
Oh, she has. Yeah, she
well.
did not humiliate her people. They sent the right person to the Senate. A voice.
Earlier on, the court ruled her 6-month suspension unconstitutional.
Yes.
You know, they didn't unconstitutional. Does a return confirm that the judiciary can check legislative overreach?
No, but obviously that's what it is. It should be able to, because the judiciary, you know, interprets the law. What they say is final, even in matters of constitution, because when they interpret, it becomes a, you know, that's a statement by itself. And you know, so I think they're quite right about that. And what they decide, you know, is what the situation is.
Okay, let's talk about, you know, some persons. I just wanted to talk briefly about this, not too much talk. Some people believe the suspension is linked to the sexual harassment, you know, allegation against the Senate president. Do you see the connection?
I personally don't see it, although it's very embarrassing. And the problem is, you see, when women accuse men of sexual molestation, is a word against that of the man. Men are an endangered species in that area. The reason is that we're here now.
Okay.
If the people in the control room were to leave this room even for 30 seconds, and by the time they come back, you say, "I've harassed you," or you hold my dress and say, "I'm trying to harass you," there's nothing on earth that will convince any of them that what you're saying is not true. You know, we don't know what the facts are for sure.
Okay.
But you know, sometimes women can use it as a tool. I'm not saying that she has used it as a tool, but you cannot rule it out. We had a conversation earlier about a similar accusation against Reno.
Yeah.
And that he had his rock-solid alibi, which proved that that allegation was false. It's a case, unfortunately. So, men, the best thing is always maintain a glass if you can.
You know, at the point when I saw Reno Omokri's, you know, his interview, when he said, okay, she accused me of same thing 2014, but at that 2014, I was not even in the country. You know, according to him, he said he had to present his British passport, his British airline ticket and his passport to, you know, show that I wasn't even in the country at that point, but she accuses me. So at that point, I keep asking myself, so why would she just come out and accuse Reno of something like that, knowing fully well that, okay, Reno had an evidence. I wasn't in the country and you accused me.
No. She may not have known. I'm assuming, I'm not saying, you know, this is not taking anything away from her, but when you accuse somebody, if it is false, it's false. It's not about knowing whether there's evidence or not. Like I gave an example now. If you were to accuse me, assuming there's nobody here now, you were to accuse me, you know there's no evidence, but you accuse me nonetheless. But the thing out there is that when a woman accuses a man, if he goes out publicly like that, men will, I can assure you that more than 75% would side with the woman, you know, against the man, because they tend to believe that men are the aggressors and maybe the man did that. But you saw even in the Bible where Potiphar's wife wrongfully accused Joseph. So
yeah, exactly.
From time it has been like that, you know. But I don't know why, you know, people have failed to see that men are innocent most times. In many cases when accusations like this come up, and the women use it as a tool. Not in every case, but lots of times, you know. And as has been proven in Reno's case that you mentioned, in the case of Akpabio, there is no evidence. It may be true, it may not be true.
You know,
it may be part of her defense, using attack as defense, you know, to protect herself or to smear him, you know, to embarrass him. It could be that. And she has the beauty, to make it to justify it.
What got a lot of people talking at that point, a lot
Yeah.
of speculation. She had an evidence, you know, of I think a voice, a chat of himself and Akpabio. You know, Akpabio telling her that, okay, come, I want to organize a party for you. You don't have to come with your husband. You know, with that, a lot of persons were just thinking, okay.
So if you have a tendency, it's easy. It will stick. So he may have done it. I'm not excusing anybody. A lot of big politicians and big men are lecherous. You know, the money gives them a right to harass anybody. Some of them are known to always say, what money cannot do, more money will do.
Interesting.
You know, so when you hear statements like, what money cannot do, more money will do, what it simply means is that, you know, no woman can say no to you. If she says no, you throw more money at her. If she still says no, you throw more money at her. They cannot understand why a woman should say, no, I don't want you.
Interesting. So if money is involved.
Well, it's one of those things. There's so many things that they throw, and you know.
Okay, moving on. Do you think could this case set a legal precedent limiting how long the National Assembly can suspend its members?
The issue of legal precedence, I don't think that really comes up here. Because if you're talking about legal precedence, then it's the judiciary that makes the pronouncement that becomes a legal precedence. Okay, but whether a precedence, yes, it could set a precedence. If this has gone on unchallenged, then a precedence has been set. It means it can happen again and again and again, because then people can then refer to it and say, well, somebody was suspended, Natasha was suspended for 6 months, heavens did not fall, you know. So the next person, in the next person's case, the same thing can be invoked, and then maybe they can even try to extend, you know. But yes, a precedence has been set. Is it really a precedent? I don't know if this is really the first time. I'm not sure how long Ndume's own lasted, but yeah, we could say that in a sense, yes, a precedent has been set.
You know, she also said yesterday that despite the fact that she was suspended, she was still carrying all her duties. And despite the fact that at this point, you know, of course, she's suspended, she's been restricted from a whole lot of things, you know, the allowances and all of that, but she was still carrying her duty. What do you have to say about that?
Honestly, that woman has shamed a lot of senators and the National Assembly persons, because the programs she carries out in her constituency, many state governors do not even carry it out in a whole state.
Interesting.
Empowerments, you know, genuine empowerments. Serious, not these ones who buy wheelbarrow or go and marry off many women, or, you know, buy cutlasses and machetes and give to their people and say it's empowerment. No. Natasha does she actually empowers her people. You know, so even during the period, she's shaming a lot of them. The money they steal, you know, many of them just, and I use the word deliberately, you know, steal or misappropriate. Perhaps that's a better word. I withdraw what I said earlier. Okay. Yes. So misappropriate, because if you use it properly, you know, we'll feel the impact. Your people will feel the impact. You know, what is allocated to them, they say for constituency allowance, you know, and all that. You see how people are using it to better how she uses it to better the life of her people. What others do is just buy cutlass, wheelbarrow, and then they call that empowerment. I don't understand.
So I think Natasha is being loved. I think she's being loved. So do you
and
see
it
her?
Evokes envy.
Yeah.
It evokes envy, unfortunately.
Interesting.
Yes.
Do you see her maybe coming up for a governorship in a state and all that?
Clearly. I see even beyond that.
Are you serious?
Yeah, she's certainly a future governor of Kogi State. But she's also a strong vice presidential candidate. And if she's on any ballot, she will win.
I think you can see the future.
Look, my political predictions are so on point. I can tell you that. I'm right more than 90% of the time.
So if she should come out
if
now
she's
to
on
protest,
if she's on any ballot,
people will definitely support her.
Oh yes, she might even be more popular than Obi.
Are you serious?
I'm serious about that. She's a very strong vice presidential candidate. Any party that anybody that puts her on the ballot will go very far. She's loved across the country. She has proven herself, and her beauty is a charmer.
Yeah. She's very pretty.
So the young people will rally behind her. The men will rally behind her. The women will rally behind her. She has a track record, and she's sound upstairs. Very, very sound, and presentable as a candidate.
So if she should come out, because what I saw yesterday, when they unsealed her office, she was going to the office. A lot of persons were going with her, happiness everywhere. A lot of persons were happy that she's back.
It just tells you, yes, the truth is that they're afraid of the bully. That's the thing. It's not nothing else. It's just the bully that they're afraid of. Because you throw his weight around and you don't want to be seen on the
Another
outside.
thing that surprised me the most is the fact that, she came out and, those senators, they were like, you have to apologize. You have to apologize. And she came out yesterday. I saw the video. She was like, I don't owe anybody an apology. I'm not apologizing to anyone. Senator Akpabio is not more of a senator than I am. He's a senator.
She knows.
I'm a senator. Like, she knows her right. The fact that she came out, she stood her ground and she said that. And I'm like, oh, okay, interesting.
Yeah, sure. I mean, very few men would do that. But it's not because she's a woman, but she is who she is. Very strong character. She knows her rights. She's a lawyer, by the way. And she, just like Akpabio is as well. But she's like, look, no, you cannot intimidate me. I am here not courtesy of you. You did not appoint me a senator. I'm not here because of you. I'm here to represent my people, just as you're here to represent your people. And I'm saying maybe we should even go and check the records and find out the number of votes that brought him and the number of votes that brought her. You might just find that she has more votes than him. Which, if you ask me, should even give her more rights, than himself. So and I think secretly all the senators, many of them love her, respect her. They don't have the courage to do what she's done. They wish they had the kind of courage that she has, many of them don't necessarily like Akpabio. But it's like he wields the power. So
because he's the president.
Yes, he's the president. He can decide, he can make you chairman of a committee, a juicy committee, and can remove you. He can appoint you head of a committee. So, and many of them are looking for that. They are out there for what's in it for them, not necessarily for what's in it for their constituents.
When she was suspended, as part of a suspension session, sealing her office before they had to unseal it yesterday, to enforce removal of her property record, after sealing her office, to prevent her from interacting with Senate premises, not having, to get all the necessary benefits, of course, if you're in the seat, salaries and all of that, and benefits and the rest. At that point, okay, like I said earlier, withdrawing those things from her because she has been suspended, it's a whole lot. And she's still saying yesterday that despite all those things, despite depriving her from all those benefits and all that she's supposed to be benefiting if she's on a seat, but she was still working.
Defiant.
She was still working. And I'm like,
See, the thing is this, many of them, what is ruling them is, even at that level, stomach infrastructure. As we say, courtesy of Fayoshe. All they're thinking about is themselves. Which is why a lot of things happen you don't hear, because they're busy, like they say, it's bad manners to talk while chopping. So they're not talking, and then what she has demonstrated is that she's not in the Senate because of the money. She's there to represent her people. If it was, like other senators, or like my senator was saying, oh, she should apologize and all that. Why would you do that? So that you will not be deprived of your allowances or what? Why would you do that? If you know you're on your right, stand till the very end. And that's what she has demonstrated. And that's the courage that many of them lack. Many of them lack that courage. They cannot, because, if you are not there, all those allowances and, the committees that you are heading and all that, all those sitting, so many of them, for that reason, cannot
stand.
They cannot. They are just looking at what's in it for them, nothing more.
So what you're saying now is most of those people in power, they are concerned just about themselves.
But isn't
what
that
they
what
get.
it is? Isn't that what it is? When you hear them quarrel, it's because probably they're shortchanging them. Then they'll call and say, they'll bring in tribalism and bring in religion. Say, they're cheating also. See what they are doing. They are depriving us. They say, because I'm an Igbo man, because I'm a Hausa, because I'm a Yoruba, they bring it in and say, because I'm a Christian and they are a minority, I'm a minority, I'm a Muslim. They bring all sorts of things and try to insinuate, or try to manipulate the system. But when they are, excuse my language, when they are chopping, mouth closed, you don't hear anything. When they are allocating allowances to themselves, you don't hear anything.
Some persons, we would always say that most of those people in power, that what they are concerned about is themselves, and they are there to hear the people, the cry of the people, to serve the people initially. But most times they are there, just for themselves.
Well, let me also correct something here as I go along, Again, don't get me wrong, there are distinguished senators.
Yes.
Decent people in that Senate. I dare say few and far between. There are many who are not. Some are just there. Yes, they got in there by whatever means, and so they found themselves there. There are distinguished ones among them who are there for what they are there for. I mean, it took this incident, it didn't just take this, but Natasha, you could see, she's from the same Senate, but she's made of a different stock, a different breed, There are a few like that. But in the main, we have like in every group, every committee, every society, you have the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Exactly.
So we have distinguished senators, as they are called, and then we have some who are not so, distinguished. But what I think Natasha has done is to just show that, look, you should set an example here. Be a voice of your people, not just in words, but in deed as well. Okay? Do not compromise your integrity, and then stand for what you believe in. Okay. And in the end, whatever happens, you'll be vindicated.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Victor Ohai, for joining us on the program this morning.
Glad to be here.
Okay, that is all we've got for you from our Lagos Network studio. Natasha's office has been unsealed yesterday, and she is set to resume on a duty October 7th. Let's keep our fingers crossed and see. Okay, thank you so much for joining on TMI this morning on ITV from our Lagos Network studio. I am Miss Selena Unko.